Hey everybody, it's Brian and Jess,
Hey.
and this was our special video about Concepción, which is a small little town about 6 hours north. I gotta think of my directions. Northeast of where we're at in Santa Cruz. So
Our trip inside of a trip.
yeah. So I've got some pictures there. Our friend Lorenzo, the lizard, tried to tag along with me. It was stuck in my backpack. That was fun. There's some pictures of us hopping in the car. We took 2 vehicles because there was a total of 16.
Yeah, 16 with 2 babies.
16 of us, 2 of them being bebes, a 1-year-old and a 4-year-old. There's some pictures of just kind of driving on our way there. It was, again, like it's a long drive to be going with kids. I think there was like 9 adults, actually 8 adults and like 2 babies and 6 teenagers, I think, if we add them all up. Anyway, some more pictures of the little countryside and some cows and goats and different wildlife. Cotton field. There's also a picture of the longest bridge in Bolivia. And some more pictures of wildlife and cows and
Landscape
pictures and some houses along the way.
They had the little thatch roof, which was cool.
Yeah, that was definitely cool. And then tons and tons of sunflowers.
There was fields that literally went for days.
Not literally for days, but miles.
It looked like it went for days.
Yes.
Like you could walk for days.
Yeah, tons and tons. And they actually they make sunflower oil. It's just one of the products that they make from all of that. So, and then we took a stop in some different little places because along the way, there's a little picture of a statue there. There's like a bunch of little Jesuit missions that were started like back in like the late 1800s, I think it was. I think there's 7 of them, and so there's one that we stopped. I think it's San Javier. We stopped on the way, and we took a little break and got out and walked and looked at the church, which was beautiful. And there was like all this beautiful stonework. Yeah, we just enjoyed some time in the little park area that they had.
A lot of these little towns have plazas. Where it's like this central kind of garden area with lots of trees and benches, and it's really beautiful and peaceful.
Yeah, and all of them at the very center of their little plaza have a cross and usually a little placard like this picture shows. There's another picture of the church, and a picture of
Yahaira, Alejandra, and Leanne.
And then we finally got into Concepción like pretty late at night. Not late, it was like 7. It was dark. And we got to our hotel, and they were able to accommodate us with, I think we had 4 different rooms, one for each family.
I snagged a picture of Honora and Izzy dancing in the courtyard. And it was really cute.
Yeah, of our hotel waiting for us to go out to eat. And so then we got out and we started walking. We were looking for a place to find some food. We did finally, after walking for quite a little ways, we did find a place to eat. There's Arcedio and Leanne. There's a picture of my burger, my monster burger. And then there's this, I can't remember what it's called, but it's this dish that's from Bolivia, and it's like I called it South American poutine because it had like potatoes,
it was like
and French fries
and meat and like this sauce with a bunch of veggies.
Yeah, it was really delicious. And there's a little panoramic view of our table with everybody.
Don't mind my face. It
yeah,
got
then
scrunched.
and then the next, I wasn't gonna say that. And then the next morning, just looking at the garden there, and there's some pictures of the little Jesuit. There, well, that's the Last Supper, and then there's some pictures of the 7 Jesuit missions.
They're carved out of wood.
Yeah, and then
really
there's
cool.
our breakfast set up in the morning because they served us breakfast each morning. It was really nice. And Paula. Yeah, and then what we did the next day is we actually stopped and we had some time to just pray together, and we were just asking Holy Spirit what we should do. And so we ended up breaking up into groups and going out to just talk to people and be led by the Holy Spirit. So we have multiple groups that went out. I don't know which groups are which. Yeah, my group ended up being in the plaza for a little while, and we got to share with several different people. We got a chance to have different conversations. I think John took a group out as well, and they had a conversation with a guy, and they were able to...
Whose name was Brian.
And we were able to share the gospel. I don't know if they used the cards, but they definitely were sharing the kingdom with him.
We did not use the cards.
Yeah, and then for us, we got to pray for Ivan. He sells ice cream in the plaza, and he was super open for prayer. We actually prayed for him. He had a headache, or he said his head hurt. We prayed for him, and it didn't go away right away. We prayed a second time, and it went away totally. And he was like, just joy on his face, was super happy, and actually invited us to come to his house the next day. We just weren't able to catch up with him later that day to get all of his information, to find out like where he lived and everything. And there's Leanne eating ice cream and playing around with the ice cream cart. So it was just a really nice time for us. There's another picture of Arceu praying for Brian. And then you want to talk about this?
Yahida and Honora had been talking with a lady in the plaza. She was a widow, and she made and sold these little drum / bird feeder things that she had made to support herself, and they were praying for her as we walked up, or they were talking, and we were able to all just pray over her and kind of just love on her, and we bought a little drum to help support her.
Yeah. And while they were doing that, Carly and I had ran over to one of the hotels where 6 years ago a guy helped John and Carly and the kids like find a place to stay. He ran a hotel. So we went to his hotel. He's in the States right now, so we weren't able to see him, but we were able to talk to a couple of people. One of them being the gardener that works there that remembered them from 6 years ago. And Carly was able to get his contact info so that when they go back through, they can maybe share with him and his family. So that was really cool. And really this trip was a lot about like making connections. So we then we were getting stuff for lunch, and we met another guy, I can't remember, I think it was Marcelos. And
he offered everybody ice cream cones. So he gave us all, or ice cream bars, and so he gave us all free ice cream.
And then we asked if he had any pain or sickness, and he had an ankle injury.
Yes.
That we were able to
Carly
all pray for.
is amazing at just jumping in and saying, hey, instead of us just walking away. Like she has this amazing ability to go, no, I'm going to stop and actually talk to this person.
Yeah.
And so we were able to talk with him and pray with him, and it was really good.
Yeah, and then one of the other groups was Boris took the boys and Alejandra, and they actually went, and there's a picture of them all together with masks on. They actually went into and prayed for somebody in the hospital there. So that was really cool. They were able to talk and share with them. We then just had some time of like prayer and worship that evening. It was really just sweet to hang out together. We actually went to the pool as well. And then in the afternoon, we went back into the plaza and we were doing worship. And that was really cool. And so we have a little short video of worship in the park.
Llena ese lugar, ven reposa en Dios. Cuando tú te mueves a mi ser, llena ese lugar, ven reposa. Luego vendrás, lo harás otra vez, abre los cielos, muévete aquí.
Meanwhile, while we were worshiping and Carly was playing the uke, like you saw, Paula had gone over. I think Jess went with her as well, and gone over.
We actually had walked around a little bit and prayed for a guy, and then we came back and we went out to walk around the other side of it. And we had stopped and talked with some girls that were taking selfies. And as we were praying for them, there was this guy on the bench just watching us. And he just kind of followed us as we went to leave. He was just following us with his eyes. And I was like, I feel like we should talk to him. Like, what about the guy on the bench? So we go over and Paula said that he was really open, and he had some pain in his kidneys, and he was open to hearing the gospel. So she actually got to share the gospel with him, and then we prayed for healing, and it was just a really beautiful time. Our Seiyu actually came over at the perfect time to kind of share his testimony. Which was really good, and I think it helped the guy open up a little bit about what was going on with him.
Yeah, and then we had just other, some of the girls and John were sharing with another group of younger people. There was a young gal that was really super open. Actually said she wanted to be baptized, but she had school the next day, and it just kind of didn't really work out for this time around. So, but like I said, most of what this was about was making a lot of connections and talking to a lot of people, which I feel like we did. So that night we were able to go and eat dinner at this local, really, obviously all of them are local like places, right? But it's really it's a lady's house that she's cooking out of her house, and it was super good. And Carly had made a connection with her to come back and share with her on our last morning before we went back. And so the rest, a bunch of us went to the plaza, and Carly and Paola had gone early to share with the lady that owned the restaurant. And there's a picture of me in the plaza, and a picture of the cross in the middle of the plaza with all the palm trees around it. It's really beautiful area. And then again, just like I said, just sharing with tons and tons of people. There's Izzy and I think it was Izzy and Yahida were sharing, and Alejandra is sharing with somebody else as well. And there's a picture of Honora hanging out in the little gazebo, and Arceo and Leon, and the three of them together. And we were just actually just sitting around the plaza and just singing worship songs. It was just really good. I felt like it was a lot of like carving out space for just to worship Jesus.
Yeah, it's nice to get to just sit in his presence and worship him in a place that's not typically done.
Yeah.
It's usually a place where all the kids go after school and just hang out. But there's not a ton of worship that's done in the plaza, and so it was just beautiful to kind of carve out that space and invite him into that.
And then we stopped and did a quick little video with John and Carly, update video, because this was 6 years later, because that's Concepción and the church in the background there. That's actually the church that Carly had seen in her dream when she really felt from the Lord that they were supposed to go to Bolivia. And then, of course, it was confirmed while they were in Africa. So we did a little video there, and we recreated a picture for them from their first trip to Concepción 6 years ago. And then we went home. So thanks for checking out Concepción, Bolivia. And this was days 12, 13, and 14 here in Bolivia.